Good afternoon, and welcome to More Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about Peacemaker and Pointblank from Transformers Legacy. I got Peacemaker here as a Christmas present, as a kind of a family helping my channel out by giving me a couple of Transformers, which is really good because I ain't got no Transformers. Not many Transformers right now. Budgetary reasons and stuff, and if the Transformers Hasbro event today for the Haslab has anything to prove, I'm probably going to be spending a lot of money. So there's not going to be many Transformers for the next couple of months, and I'm sorry for that, my viewers and listeners. But hey, if you want to help out, you can always send me a Transformer to review, and I will gladly do it. Because at the moment, it's not in the budget to have many of them. So my channel's mainly going to be talking about Lego over the next few weeks until I get a better, I get financially stable again. Christmas and a wedding and all sorts of other things happening at the end of last year really crippled me financially. But don't worry, I'm bouncing back. I always bounce back. I call it, the Gemini superpower. We bounce back. So let's talk about this figure. And I wanted to bring up, we're just going to start the day off by talking about, now I can't remember if his gun is called Peacemaker or if he's called Peacemaker, but I'm going to call him Pointblank, and I'm going to call his gun Peacemaker. Like from the show WB. That's freaking awesome. So let's talk about Peacemaker first, and the negatives on this guy. So he's a neat little gun, little box, got a gun on the end of it, and I've got one of the Battle Masters from the Siege toy line right here, and he's got two barrels. One's longer than the other one because I think he's the one that came with Hotlink. I'm not 100% sure though. Anyway, so these two guns here, and we'll just transform them real quick to kind of show you what I'm a bit upset by. And honestly, it's just kind of a, seriously, Hasbro, you already had the mold. So how we transform this is we just fold the barrel up, and then we just fold these legs down. And there you have it. Mom's your uncle. There's little Peacemaker right there. And no articulation whatsoever. So let's come over here and let's take a look at this one. Let's detach each hand from the hips of the legs. Unattach the legs from the gun barrel. Let's unattach the legs from the gun barrel. There it goes. And come on. Yeah, that's a good stiff joint right there. I love how sturdy these guys were. And then we just fold that down, and there we have it. We've got a little guy with no elbows and no knees, but and he has a siege peg in front of him, like some sort of giant nipple. But you know what he does have? His arms can move sideways like that. We can do a little split with him. Look at that. You can do some stuff with this guy. You move him around and stuff. This dude that came with Pointblank, little Peacemaker here, is just a little statue. He's just a statue that becomes a gun. And you know what? Honestly, like, if you're trying to hide the fact that you have a gun on you, carrying around a little action figure that becomes a gun, I guess could work. But I don't think it's very useful. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, I do not like the Peacemaker's weapon here. I just don't like Peacemaker. It's not a good weapon. And you can see that the they could have just repackaged one of these Battle Masters and repainted it as Peacemaker. They could have done that, and we would all have been okay with that. And even look at, they're even different sizes. Like, little Peacemaker's so small compared to this Battle Master. All right, well, that's me complaining about those two weapons, or doing a little comparison of those two weapons. It's a bit of a shame that that's the case. Now let's talk articulation and sculpt work on this. First off, it's a hefty guy. Let's bring in Cliffjumper here from Earthrise. We got our Earthrise Cliffjumper right here. And Earthrise Cliffjumper is going to do a little size comparison. Here we go. Earthrise Cliffjumper comes up to midway up the chest of Peacemaker, of Pointblank here. I'm hoping it's Pointblank. And Pointblank can wrap his arm around Cliffjumper. And Cliffjumper, him and Cliffjumper are friends. Oh, buddy. And then, bam! Out of the way. Yeah! Screw you, cliff jump. All right, so let's talk about this guy in depth. He's a he's a decent transformer, but there's some problems with him, and we're going to go over that. So first off, weight-wise, like I said before, he's a hefty guy, so you're getting a lot there. But we're going to talk, I guess, negatives before really getting into the articulation. So we'll talk about the biggest negative on him, and it's this negative space behind both of his legs. Like with all the spring-loaded action we've seen with other figures, or little panels that unfold and fold in with other figures, you would think they would do something there, but that's just a giant empty nothingness right there. It could have been hidden by a single panel. Could have been, and it wasn't. But as negative spaces go, that's it. There's no negative space on the bottom of the feet. There's no negative space around the arms. There's just the back of the leg. That's it. That's the hollow. Everything else is hunky-dory. All right, well, now that negative is gone, let's talk articulation. So this is a weird bit. Articulation-wise, the arms only do like 45 degrees because of this weird blocky thing on them. But if you spin the arm around and you put the shield that it has on the forearm inside the arm, and of course now the hand's messed up because the thumb's on the bottom instead of the top, but he gets a 90 with his elbow. You know, if you rotate it around, he only gets like a 45 because of the way this transformation works. It's a weird transformation, and it's a weird arm there. Like, really, guys? You couldn't have... How? How did you screw this up? Like, if you do it this way, with the hand wrong, he actually has a double elbow. He does. There's the elbow joint there, and then there's the elbow joint there. Like, he's got a doubled elbow. But if you spin it around the way it's supposed to be, he only has a single elbow, and it only goes 45. Or you can do like that, and he's got like a reverse elbow. You know, it folds backwards. That's terrible. That's bad. But yeah, that's just a weird thing about this figure. If you want to do it wrong, you get more articulation. If you do it right, you get less articulation. What's up with that? We're just gonna do it wrong because I like the more articulation aspect than the less articulation. Even though his little shields, which are really cool and have some really neat textures on them, are facing on the inside of the body now, which is a shame because I do like those shields and I do like them on the outside of it, but I do love me some articulation. So that's a fix for the articulation there. Head is it's sticky, but it moves around, it rotates. And it's on kind of a ball joint. I don't think much of one. It doesn't really crack its head left or right. It doesn't even, because of transformation you can have it look down, but there's no looking down, looking up. I think this is a pinned head, not really a head on a ball joint. So the sculpt work for this head is excellent, though. I do love his helmet style and his face. It's really good. You know, this guy's got some character to him. Yeah, like his little antenna sticking out of the top of his head, or at least like folded backwards slightly. You know, like with Bender on Futurama, where he can spray his antenna with that aerosol spray, and then he pushes it backwards like a comb over or something. It's just like a swept back antenna. So that's kind of neat. I do like his little wheels on his shoulders are kind of cool, but missed opportunity there because they don't have siege ports in them. They got these tiny little siege pegs that you can fit a core class or legacy figures gun into, but not really great for anything else. But on the back of his shoulders, we do get 2 siege ports, which is really interesting that there's a siege port on the back of his shoulders. We can actually plug this guy's chest in there, can't we? Or is he just going to be too big? Actually, that isn't a siege peg. My bad. That's just a screw hole. The more you know. So, shoulder-wise, his shoulders can rotate 360 degrees. They can raise up at about 45. No sort of butterfly going on there. The core of him, he doesn't have any sort of core movement, but he does rotate at the waist. His legs can kick sideways at a little more than a 90. They can kick forwards at exactly a 90. They can kick back a little more than a 90. Actually, like, really good, like 110. That's pretty good. We got the rotation at the the hip, but that doesn't do 360 degrees. It's just a slight rotation, but you can force it to get a little more, but it doesn't do 360 degrees. Then a single jointed knee. And we come down here, and the foot is at that ankle rocker, and the toe can collapse in if you so choose. So that's kind of, that's the general articulation for this guy. He doesn't have anything crazy, but he's overall decent. He's decent when it comes to the articulation, and his sculpt work is really cool. You got these wheels on his shoulders that are really nice, the little spokes on the sides. He's got these little spikes on the sides that make him look like he's got spiky pauldrons. It's really cool. I do like his shoulders, how they work. The windscreen for the car is the front of the is his chest piece, so it's a big solid piece. That's his chest piece, really nice, really sleek too. Come down here, he's got some sculpt work on the thighs. I love it. I love it when they do sculpt work on the thighs. People don't even pay attention to the thighs all the time. Usually you get just blank thighs, but this guy's got some sculpting in there, a little vent action going on, some random little pieces and stuff. It's nice. That is some good sculpt work going on there. Coming down here, he's got little winglets on the side of his knee, little winglet there, and his knees are pretty good. That's a nice vent activity going on there. And then the rest of the car mode that makes up the bottom of his leg, it just works out really well. He feels good in the hand, and the only negative is just that hollow stuff on the backs of his legs. His wheels are on the lower leg, but they don't have any siege ports either, but they do have the tiny one for a core class or legacy character. This is it's a little annoying that there's not much activity going on with siege ports for this guy, but there is one on his back that we can plug. Let's try this guy. All right, so plug it into the back. Yep, that is a siege port on his back, and now we can plug that dude in. He's just kind of hanging out there like a Plecostomus. Plecostomus, not Pecostomus. All right. Well, that's kind of everything for him. It's neat that he hit on the back end here. He's got this engine piece that hangs low, and yeah, my overall rating on Peacemaker's robot mode here is, well, I'd give it a I think I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think 7 out of 10 is pretty good for this robot mode. It's got some flaws, and it does have some things that I'm just like, why did you do that? But for the most part, it is an excellent robot mode, and the negatives I've already explained. I just wish it came with a different gun. It's a transforming gun's kind of cool when it has articulation and does things, but when it doesn't, it's not. And with Legacy doing the whole evolution of weaponizer thing where they did the energon weapons and stuff like that, you would expect this guy to come with some cool weapons like that, but he did not. Yeah, but that's all I have for you today. I'm going to go and get ready to watch the Hasbro Pulse thing, and I'm going to make a video of watching that with you so that we can post that as well today. Until next Pride, bye bye for now.